Hello, welcome back to Pattern Making with Let Morris. I hope you're all well. We're back on making the pattern for this style. We're going to be going onto the front. So I've already pre-marked out the front, and this is all the details, style lines, style features that we want on the front. So it's a boat neck, and I've marked that on. So that measurement has to match the back across the shoulder. I've already taken off the shoulder a bit because allowing for the puff sleeve that we're going to be doing. Puff. And I've marked on the section that I want along here and round this section here, and also the hem. So this is the hem section. This is where I want. I've gone up like the back, exactly the same. So they meet when they match on the back. I've tapered it in into the hip, and I've taken my curve along there into the dart, into the dart, into the dart. So I'm going to remove that section along here, and I'm going to remove this section here up to here to create my pattern piece. So you've got your pencils, your tools, your paper, scissors, ruler, set square. I'm going to start off by, I'm going to fold my paper. I'm going to fold my paper. The paper that you've got, you fold it so that you're working on a fold edge. So I'm going to fold this because I'm going to do the center section of this dress first. So I'm going to do this section here first. So you place that on the fold edge of your pattern piece of paper. And then I'm going to trace off the section that I want. So if you watch closely with me, so I'm going to go around the neckline here. That's what I want. And I'm going to go along the shoulders. And I'm going to come down along the arm, back into the arm there. And I'm going to go along the side. And I'm going to take it along to the top line of the dart. And I'm going to come down this side of the dart along here. And I'm just going to take it running around to there. And I'm going to also put my waist, a notch there for the waist. And once I've got that, I'm going to go down the side and I'm going to take it across that style line that I've got there, which I want. So I'm going to trace that off like that. Once I've traced that off, I'm going to remove this and I'm going to mark the lines on so that you can see the lines that we've got. So we've got the neckline here. So I'm just going to mark that on. We've got the armhole around here, which I'm going to mark on. And we've got the lines for the darts, which we're now transferring into a waist. We're transferring the seam so that it comes in with the darts. So we go around this line here, which is our curve line. And that's your waist notch here. And we're going to come along the bottom here, which is that shape that we've got along there. So now that we've traced that section off from our draft, never cut your draft up because you always keep your draft so that you know where you are. I'm going to add my seam allowance along there, which is 1 centimeter in that section here. And I'm going to go 1 centimeter in here also. Follow the shape down that you've got and round because it's slightly rounded here. You go around, you do it with your set square, your curve. If you haven't got a good curve, you cannot curve it by eye. So that's your seam along there. And then we're going to need a seam allowance on the side, which is 1 centimeter. And you allow that there, and we want 1 centimeter down along here as well. So these are your seam allowance that you allow. And you allow 1/4 on the neck at the top because you only need 1/4 there. And you add 1 centimeter on the shoulders and a centimetre around the armhole along here. And a centimetre down the side along here also. So you've got all your seam allowance along on your pattern piece. So this is now your center front pattern piece, and we then cut this shape out. We put notches there so that we know that that goes to there. And don't forget, we're going to put our balance mark in for the armhole, and then we want to decide on how far down we want the gauge to start, whether it's 3 inches, 2.5, whatever amount, wherever you want it to start. So I'm going to take mine down 3 inches from the top of the shoulders. So I want mine to start there. So that's where the gauging starts. So you must put a notch in. So once you've got that, we then cut out this shape. Just before we cut out this shape, we actually, if we've got enough paper, we can get that piece along there, but we haven't. So we can just cut out this shape, and then we can do the side bits. Along there. So on when we did the back section, the last back section that we did, you see where we've done the bottom of the actual this actual dress, and we did it in a circle. So that pattern piece that we've done for the back, we can also use for the front, because we kept the same seam allowance, same circumference of the hem on the back as we've got on the front. They're the same. So we don't need to make another new pattern piece for the frill, or the flounce, you can call it, at the bottom. We can use the same flounce that we use for the back. We can use that pattern piece to cut for the front as well, because the circumference here and here, we've kept them the same. So that is the pattern piece that you've got now for your front. You put your notches in along there so they come through on the other side. Along there, we've got that one on the waist, and we put them in, and then we can open our pattern piece, and you can see how it's now going up at the side, coming down at the bottom, and we can put our grain line on there. We will use the center here to be our grain line, and once we've got that, that's our grain line, and we're going to cut that center front, and we're going to cut one of those. So that is your front section done. And next thing we do, we just create the side, and what we do is we place that on a sheet of paper, and we're also going to trace off, but we're going to trace off that section there that we have shaded in. So at the bottom of the dart, that dart that we've got there, because we're incorporating the darts into a seam, and we go that side of the dart, and we go right around the curve that we've got, and then we just mark the rest of the side up to that dart. And don't forget, very important, to put your grain line on, which is parallel to the center front. And once we've got that, we also, I just like to always put a dart to balance up at the waist, and one there. And then once we got that, all we do is connect up the lines like that, connect them up, and we go around this curve here, follow that line around, give it a nice curve back into there and up onto there. And then we can put the grain line on like that. So that is your side front. Then you just put your seam allowance on there, which is 1 centimeter all the way around. You can use your curve if you're not good at shaping it round, but this takes years to get this, you know, by just doing it freehand, and just connect up your lines, and then a straight line across here with your rule centimeter seam, and then down your side again a centimeter. Follow the shape round, follow the shape up the side, and that's your seam allowance on there. That's your side bit. So side, and you're going to cut 2 of those. So that is the front, that's your side bit of the front. That goes, and that fits back into there. You've got to check to make sure that fits onto there and fits onto there and round back to there. So that is your front, fits into there like that when you've machined it up. So that is the front section done. And then, as I said, we use the same pattern piece that we have for our back to do the front. And once you've done that, that's your front done. And then all we do now is just make the facing for the front neck. And we can do that if you've got a spare piece of paper on one side. We just mark that out, lay that on the fold that, place that on the fold edge of your pattern on the fold edge, mark around your neckline and a little bit up across the shoulders, and you're going to make the same amount of facing at the width at the back. That's your facing here, which is on the shoulder here. So if that's an inch and a half, you're going to make your shoulder facing at the front the same amount. So you measure out from there 1.5 inches, and you just make all the way around 1.5 inches for your facing. So you just follow that round to give you your facing. So that is now your facing for your front. And you just cut out, put your grain line on, and put your information. So we're going to cut one of these plus one fusing, because we need a bit of fuse for the so that is your facing. So your grain line goes in the center of that, like that. That's your grain line. So we're going to cut one plus fuse. You're going to cut one fuse as well, so you see, so it gives it a nice fit. So those are the pieces for your front. All we need are those pieces, and we use the back frill for the hem of the actual garment. So those are your pattern piece. They look like that when it's opened out. That's your front. So that completes the front section of this dress. So in the next video that we do, you can see where we've done the sleeve. So we'll come back to that in the next video. Thank you for watching wherever you are, whether it's morning, evening, or lunchtime. Thank you for watching. Keep watching, and please comment, share the video, tell someone about it. You know, there's somebody out there want to learn, want to know how this is done. I wonder how they done it. You can be able to learn this. So don't forget to share, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Have a wonderful day. Bye.